brings out the if that brings out the volunteers, that sounds good to me. But actually, what we are doing, everybody knows we're giving away the wheelchairs. Last week we passed the 50 mark. Now we're up to 58 wheelchairs that we've given away and delivered. But what we need is some volunteers tomorrow for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, to help move some wheelchairs from one location to another. That's from John Williams's warehouse location to a new warehouse location. So we'll have some vehicles and trucks. Anybody that's got a few extra muscles hanging around, these aren't really heavy. They're probably, I don't know, 30 or 40 pounds. But we've got quite a few of them that we have to move. I think John is at the meeting there today, I believe. And if he is, you can see him about helping out tomorrow for 2 or 3 hours, probably from like 9 a.m. till about midday or so. Or you can call me, please. We need some guys to step up and help us move quite a few wheelchairs from one warehouse to another. Please see John at the meeting. If not, give me a call and we'd love to have you help us. We might even put you on the team if you'd like to be on our delivery team. We could use a couple more people on that as well.
Great. And I'm greatly relieved that we don't have to show up in bikinis with our bodies waxed with baby oil.
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, we
That
prefer
kind
if
of
you
a
did.
muscle event. Okay.
We love you, Richard, but we'd prefer if you didn't do that. So,
Kim, did you have some Paul Harris awards to talk about?
Hello, everyone. Can anybody hear me? Hi. So today I wanted to recognize members of our club who have attained an additional Paul Harris status. As some of you know, or most of you know, visitors don't know this, we recognize Rotarians who make an annual gift to the Rotary Foundation to support all of our international programs and other projects that we do by giving them a Paul Harris Award. So today, I want to recognize two individuals who are now here with us, but in person. One of them being past President Karen Wisenhunt in cyberspace, recognizing her for Paul Harris +7. So let's way to go, Karen. And secondly, Craig Miller is also a Paul Harris +7. He's not here with us physically, but let's clap for him as well. So for those of you who are newer members and have not yet joined the Paul Harris Society by making a gift to Rotary International, the club has about 23,000 points that we can use to match your contribution to get you into Paul Harris. If you are interested, let me know. And some of you who are already Paul Harris Society members, you're a few points from being upgraded to the next level. For some, it's between $48 and $100. So I will be sending out a note to you individually to let you know where you are if you're close to that threshold. So be on the lookout of an email from me. And I see Judge Johnson over there. Maybe is that Judge Johnson? I think it is. Our foundation chair for the district, who I had a conversation with a while ago. So we do have an opportunity to take advantage of club matching points. District points. So if you're a new member, say you're making a $500 contribution, we as a club will match that, and the district will match that. So that way you can move up the tier and also help Rotary do some wonderful things that it does globally. So if you have any interest, please let me know. I'll be glad to walk you through how that process works. So thank you so much, and congratulations to Craig and past President Karen Wisenhunt.
Go, All right. It is with some sadness that I have been asked to announce that a good friend of many people in this club, Siegfried Fischbacher, passed away yesterday. And I know he was a very good friend of Annie Noonan in our club. I had the privilege of spending a lot of time with him the year that he was the honoree of a foundation that I'm a board member of, and he helped us raise an enormous amount of money. And up until then, he was just sort of an icon in Las Vegas to me. But he's actually was actually a very, very personable individual, and had an amazing sense of humor. So I'm sorry to have to report that. Uh, Jim Cole, I think I see you up there on the screen. Did you want to tell us about the Leffler grant that the club has now applied for?
Yes. So for those of you who were able to attend last week, we had a great presentation. It was the Our Green Planet, and it just really resonated with me, and I know it also resonated with Kirk Alexander because both of us approached you individually after the meeting and asked about whether we could apply for a Leffler grant, and you gave the go-ahead, which we greatly appreciate. And talked to Mike Ballard. He supported it. He said he was going to put in funds from the foundation for our grants. And then President Richard, thank you also for agreeing to make up the gap. And so eventually we will have enough money to put in a garden complex at one elementary school here in Clark County, Nevada.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for jumping on that so quickly. That was an amazing turnaround. Marie Walsh, do I see? There you are up there. Marie, did you want to give us an update on Breakfast with Books?
Yes, I would. I have an update. We don't have Breakfast with Books, sadly to say, but the children and the families are on Zoom in the morning at breakfast time, and someone from Breakfast with Books is reading a book to everyone. And I have a report of the families that have been listening on Zoom. We have, in October, we had 168 families. And in November, we had 133 families. So we're still in business, and we're hoping to get back in person in the near future. The children are still reading, and we have to just keep going ahead with this. And thank you all very much. What happened? Are you there, Richard? What happened? The kids can't wait to go back to school, and neither can I wait to go back to Beckley. I really miss it. Did you hear me, Richard?
I did. We did. Thank you very much, Marie.
Okay.
Next on the list, I have it down that one of the NFL players who will appear in the Super Bowl is going to be here today to take around the Super Bowl board. Did that happen? So if you haven't had a chance yet to buy a square or two or three, please see our resident NFL representative. 73 left. And so for those of you who are on Zoom, it's not too late to contact us, and we'll put you in for as many squares as you'd like. Last but not least, in terms of announcements, we are still selling these very fashionable Las Vegas Rotary Club face masks. Although the vaccine is now finally starting to roll out to the general public, I believe it's fair to say we're going to be in face masks for some time. And so if you don't already have enough face masks to last you for the duration, we'd be happy to sell you more. I believe we are sold out of hats. Is that right? So unfortunately, we can't offer that to you. But if you'd also like to advertise Rotary and your pride in being a Rotarian as you're driving around town, we are selling license plates. We have many more license plates available. Our president-elect is demonstrating his recent purchase. And for the that's right, a bargain at twice the price. It's a great way to support our club's community grant fundraising, and it's also a great way to show off as you're driving around town that you're a Rotarian. For our raffle drawing today, for a chance to pull a joker, it's somebody here in the room. 8490089. All right. Well, you'll need to pull a joker then. Wait a minute. Too damn many cards. So for the people in the back of the room who can't see, Bob did pull a card that starts with J. It's just not the joker. And for the Lowry Bucks, again, it's somebody in the room. 8490064. Oh, it's our resident NFL player. You got it. I trust you. Hey, thank you. And thank you to everyone who did participate in the raffle, both online and in person. And with that, I'm happy to say I'm out of announcements, so we're going to have time for a little bit of fellowship today before our speaker begins.
So who is the authorized seller of the NFL lottery? Is it you, Steve?
I don't know. I think we just write to Sean and ask her to put us down for a square.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I just did. I just sent her a text.
I just sent her an email.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
I
Stu.
will do the same.
Hey, Stu. Do you
Yeah,
think
I'm
we
here.
could get Kirk in the room to move the camera around when somebody is speaking on the microphone, so we're not looking just at an empty podium there? We can see who's actually talking in the room.
I will message him. I don't know if he's watching the chat, or you can do that.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. No problem.
Yeah. I don't have a separate channel there.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
feels
what
kind of.
I actually what I've suggested that they do, and I haven't been able to get them to take me up on it, is just grab a random cell phone and sign that into Zoom. Leave the audio off, and if
Yeah.
you're the sergeant at arms, just put the cell phone in somebody's face and have them
Yeah.
talk.
That would work. That would work.
That way you don't really need to even move the camera around.
Right.
But
Okay.
the audio has been working really great ever since we got a hardwire connection from the house sound to the Zoom computer.
Yeah.
I can actually enjoy the meeting now. So Tom Krob left I think he had to leave the meeting for another event, but he wrote back and he said that there are lots of availability at Cashman for vaccine slots. Checking a few minutes ago for both Sunday and Monday, and I'm not signed up until a week later. But wow, I'm going to, as soon as this meeting's over, I'm going to try and see if I can get on earlier, because you have to, what is it? You have to wait 3 weeks before you get the second shot, and then it's
28
another
days.
3 weeks before. Yeah,
28 days.
28 days. So yeah, so it's basically from the first day you start, it's a month before you actually have sufficient immunity. I'm just
usually
so
10 days
bored
after
being
second
locked up here.
It's 10 days after the second inoculation that they assume that you have the immunity then.
Yeah. Are they having I don't even know what the procedure is. Do they have you go back and do an antibody test to see whether it really worked, or they just assume that it did?
I think they're still suggesting, because there's not herd immunity in the community, even as people get inoculation, that they're encouraging folks to wear masks anyway, until such time
Yeah.
as there's a strong herd immunity across the communities.
Yeah, well, you certainly don't want to spread it to anyone else, and I guess to the extent it protects other people, that's what's important.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's really full knowledge of whether or not, even though you may be immune, whether or not you actually can also still spread it to someone else.
Yeah, and they're saying it's what, 95% effective? So, I mean, there's always that 5%, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, what really will make, I mean, I'm not ready to go out and start doing bar hopping, but I sure would like to feel safe to go to Trader Joe's, which, I have been doing,
I'm with you.
or just go get an ice cream cone somewhere. Yeah, we've been we literally have not walked out of the apartment except to go down and get our mail, and
Wow.
I'm even careful about that. I'm not doing that until midnight when I know the mailroom's empty. So I just
Be careful.
it's been a year now
Wow.
for us. So my
We
son is
lost
in Singapore, and the
we lost
world is
two
completely open in Singapore.
You lost 2 members?
we
Who'd we
lost
lose?
2 members in our district this week. The president of the Mesquite Rotary Club and past district governor Jarvis, who did the World Peace Conference.
Oh.
And both of them died from COVID with family visits.
Oh, that's awful. Oh.
That's so sad.
I think that the hardest part is even if you're not sick, just not being able to get together with family at all. I mean, it's just, and then it's multiplied 4 or 5 times over. When so we have a neighbor who we've been friendly with, Steve Kasper, who's been a member of the club member Rotary for like 60 years. He passed away, and his wife, who we're friendly with, is all by herself, and there's no one there to visit her or comfort her, and it just really horrible. It's the people part of this that it just makes it intolerable. I can deal with the isolation myself, but not being able to reach out to friends and family is the really hard part for me.
Mm-hmm.
Steve didn't pass from COVID, did he?
Steve did not die from COVID. He had a stroke.
Okay.
Yeah, but you kind of wonder though whether all this is tied together. There are a number of people who are passing away because they ignored warning signs that would have normally taken to the doctor or the hospital, and then they died from heart failure or a
That's the
stroke.
that's a big problem right now, where people aren't going to the hospital because they're afraid of being exposed.
Yeah, and a lot of the hospitals now are closed for what they haven't defined it well. They're calling it elective surgery, but some of the stuff that's elective surgery is like treating skin cancers, which should it can wait a day or two, but it shouldn't wait months. And yeah, so it's hard. I think St. Rose announced that they're not doing any
Electives.
elective surgery at all.
They're at capacity. In fact, I think they're beyond capacity.
Yeah, well, they haven't. I guess they haven't set up any overflow treatment facilities here, like they did in the beginning, where they were putting hospital beds on ships and setting up convention centers for hospital overflow. That hasn't happened here yet.
Yeah. I think they're trying to set it up so that folks can get treated with their primary physicians, and they're discouraging you going to the hospital unless you absolutely have to, that maybe see your physician and get treated. But if you need oxygen or ventilator or something, then you have to go to the hospital.
Yeah. It's easy to convert a regular bed to an ICU bed, but once you run out of total beds, you're in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the latest predictions I saw showed the hospital occupancy peaking at the end of January, and then beginning to fall off back to kind of what the level had been a few months ago before the holidays by the middle of February. So,
are they attributing it to the holiday exposures, or that the numbers are up?
yeah, at least I just reading the local newspapers, the Wall Street Journal and the Review Journal, try to putting the things together. They're saying pretty much it's tied to exposure during the holidays, people traveling, and kind of expected. So you had Thanksgiving and Christmas kind of right after each other, and then they both cause people to get together in large groups. I have a friend lives in Princeton, New Jersey, and he's got a large family. He had a birthday party at a restaurant with about 14 of his family members, and all 14 of them within 2 weeks came down with COVID, and every one of them had been tested before they went to the birthday party. So it probably was the server or somebody they came in contact with in the restaurant. Somebody super contagious can really infect everybody.
Yeah, you have to be so careful. I know I was exposed right at the end of last year, and I had a quarantine for 7 days last week, and then be tested. So I try to be real careful.
I'm worried about my son, even though he's in a COVID-free area in Singapore. His visa expires at the end of this month, and they may force him to come back into the U.S. And the procedure is you have to be tested before you get on the plane, then have to quarantine for 7 days after you arrive, and then get tested again. Finally, like 12 days after you arrive, you can then come back into society. But I'm hoping they'll just extend his visa for another month.
Yeah. Does he have a place to live?
If they could keep him there for a while, that he's better off than coming back here, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's completely and totally normal there. They have not had a case for about what do you say, about 45 days? Not a single instance of anyone. And you come into the country they mandatorily isolate you. They put you in a hotel room for 14 days, and they set up the electronic lock on the door that if you leave the room, you can't get back in.
Wow.
So I mean, they basically, it's like putting you in jail. They it's not so bad if you're in Sheldon Edelson's Sands, Marina Sands, with room service and a beautiful view. but they are putting them up in luxury hotels for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Their
they-
big problem there was they had a very large migrant community of workers from a couple places, but Indonesia and this sort of thing. They were living in dormitories, and the virus just swept through that, infecting everybody. But they're all young and healthy, and not a single one of them died. And they all have very advanced medical care there in Singapore. So those people all got infected. They got over it, and they're no longer. These migrant workers are no longer spreading the virus in the community.
I mean, I think the isolation and staying away from people is one of the biggest things we can do. I know it's hard. It's hard for all of us, but having been there, we really need to be careful and look out for each other.
Yeah. And you just don't know. It's still not a complete understanding of how much of this is from super spreaders or just long contact with anybody who has it, or picking it up from surfaces. It seems like it's mainly aerosol, but it's such a new virus that you don't really have a complete understanding of everything about it yet.
No, and it just behaves so much differently with different people. I'm on that long haulers page on Facebook because I talk to people all the time who are dealing with it, and people just have a myriad of different symptoms and different challenges, and it's just crazy how it manifests itself so differently in different people.
Yeah. Well, and also but I mean the treatment is now at least there is a treatment. I mean, between the antivirals and the monoclonal antibodies. So apparently Sunrise Hospital, which has had a shipment, a stock of the monoclonal antibodies for a long time, but was not administering it to anybody. They finally set up a specialized clinic just for that purpose. And it's kind of crazy that this stuff has been around for a while, but it's not really, sometimes you want to blame the government. It's not the government. It's just that they, people really didn't mobilize to be able to deal with some of this stuff. And, it's a shame, because if we have the capability and we don't use it, it's a life lost. I think it was the Regeneron was the stuff that Trump got that apparently was very dramatic improvement when he ended up getting that. So I haven't read a lot about it, but
I think it was Remdesivir that he got.
No, he didn't get the antiviral. He may have gotten that too, but I think it was the monoclonal antibodies that it was Regeneron was what he kept talking about, and that's not an antiviral. That's it's essentially giving you immunity by putting the antibodies that your body would have created had you gotten over the disease by actually pumping them into your blood.
Okay.
It's similar to that other treatment that they called convalescent plasma, where they extract the plasma from somebody who got over it.
Right.
And then they infuse that into you. So the Regeneron is the same sort of idea. It's just that it's artificially created rather than naturally created. but it only works if it's done fairly early before the virus really, multiplies and takes over a large part of your body. So
Right.
it's yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think my sister
I
had.
see Mayor March is sitting up
had the
here
window.
online waiting for us. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the program? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's go. Let's all go
Good.
on mute.
If you look at your wheel today, her biography is there. You can't read it because it's such fine print because there's so much in it. So I have skimmed the highlights, I think. Deborah March was elected mayor of Henderson in 2017. She's a graduate of UNLV. She served as deputy administrator of the Nevada Real Estate Division and as director of the Lead Institute for Real Estate Studies at UNLV. She currently serves as vice chair of the Regional Transportation Commission and as a vice chair of the Regional Flood Control District. During her term as mayor, the city has seen unprecedented growth and development. So I'm going to let her share with you what she's done.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that warm introduction. And just so you know, today I was elected chair of the Regional Transportation Commission and the Regional Flood Control District. So I got a promotion. Thank you. And it truly is a pleasure for me to join the Rotary Club. I am a past Rotarian. I was a member of the Ely Rotary Club and the Green Valley Rotary Club. So I have a special place in my heart for the important work that you all do and the Paul Harris Fellows and the great things that happen through the Rotary clubs in our community. You all really do make an incredible difference. And I'm sorry that I can't join you today, but due to the pandemic and the need to social distance, I know I was quarantined last week, so I'm just trying to be careful, and I'm trying to keep you all safe as well. So just be sure to take care of yourselves. I'm optimistic that we're approaching an end of this public health emergency as COVID-19 vaccine is rolled out to our community. And many of you I know are getting signed up for the inoculations at various locations across the valley. We need to be able to control the spread of this coronavirus before we can truly get ahead on the economic recovery behind this. While fully reopening the casinos and bringing back visitors to the Las Vegas Valley are essential to generate revenue to put us back to work, the pandemic has emphasized how vital it is for us to diversify our economy and to create jobs that are not based on gaming and tourism. And I can tell you that's been an important priority for me as mayor of Henderson and even as a council person, the importance of looking at industries and how we can attract and bring companies here to our community to help diversify. We started looking at this with our strategic plan probably in about 2010 after the last economic downturn, where we recognized that we couldn't be dependent upon one industry, that it was really going to be our undoing, that we needed to be more diverse. And then in 2018, I sat on a panel with Michael Bloomberg in Detroit, and we talked about the importance of attracting the industries of the future. And that's something that I took to heart and really have focused on bringing diverse industries to our community to ensure that we can sustain through the long haul. So over the past decade, the city of Henderson has targeted economic development and business recruitment efforts in areas like advanced manufacturing and logistics, healthcare and life sciences, headquarters and global finance, technology, and hospitality and retail. So our laser focus on attracting high caliber companies that promote economic growth and diversification, as well as a skilled workforce, are key to our diversification and our component for Southern Nevada's long-term recovery. We recognize we've got to be doing this to ensure that we benefit our residents and our businesses alike. So we have a vision and have implemented that vision of being America's premier community, and have targeted companies like Haas Automation, which is the largest manufacturer of machines that build machines in the Western world. In fact, they're in 60 countries, and they're building a $200 million facility in West Henderson, and at completion, they'll be looking at hiring 2,500 skilled manufacturing engineers and technology jobs over the next 10 years. Haas Automation broke ground a few weeks ago, and they're expected to be completed by the end of 2022. There's also a second phase that's planned on an additional and adjacent 93 acres to Haas's facility that'll be developed for sale or lease to Haas affiliates, suppliers, and other similar commercial and industrial types of businesses with a projected investment of $100 million. And not only is Haas creating skilled jobs, they've also established an important partnership and have made major contributions for job training, both at the Nevada State College and the College of Southern Nevada. And they'll be providing training for future employees with technical skills that will be required to work at Haas, but also creating a deeper pool of candidates for other jobs across the community as well. And another notable project that's expected to break ground later this year is Henderson West, which is a mixed-use development plan for 100 acres near the M Resort along St. Rose, which will include high-end office space, retail space, and residential products as well. And it's not far from the new Raider facility as well. One of the city's targeted business sectors also is healthcare, and we're seeing an explosion of medical projects in the West Henderson area. The city recently approved a 40-acre medical campus at St. Rose and Raiders Way in West Henderson that'll be developed by the Valley Healthcare System, and it'll be another Henderson Hospital facility. And we also hear that there's some interested companies like orthopedic practices and other practices that are looking to come to the West Henderson community as well. And if you haven't been to Henderson, I don't know if you've been down by Raiders Way. If you have, it's definitely something to see. If you haven't, we'd like to invite you to come on over and take a look. There's a lot of exciting new development that's occurring there, including the recently opened Raiders headquarters and practice facility, an expansion at the Henderson Executive Airport. There's a lot of new hangars that have been built, a mixed-use project, which is now the home of the Raiderettes, and another mixed-use residential project that will be breaking ground soon further south from the Raiders facility. And the city's recent success at attracting recognized brands like Raiders, the Google, Amazon, to Henderson have put the city on the map for companies looking to relocate and to expand into our community. And they're poised to take advantage of the wonderful opportunities, including the great quality of life that we offer our residents in this community. And one of those opportunities is the city's partnership with the Golden Knights organization, which has made a significant investment in Henderson to develop two projects, the Henderson Events Center on the former site of the pavilion and the Lifeguard Arena, which is in downtown Henderson. The Henderson Events Center will be a first-class entertainment venue that will host performances, community events, and the Henderson's first hometown professional sports team, the Henderson Silver Knights. And we're very excited about that partnership. But this facility is also going to be home of the Henderson Symphony Orchestra as well. An event center will create an annual economic impact of between $17 and $26 million and will generate 122 jobs in our community. So vertical construction is well underway on that project, and I look forward to, with great anticipation, to attend some of the performances that we'll start to see in spring of 2022. And Henderson continues to see burgeoning development throughout all areas of the city, and we envision the event center as an epicenter of cultural entertainment and local performing arts within our community as well. And with the opening of Lifeguard Arena on Water Street, and if you haven't been down on Water, I really encourage you to come on down. The Water Street has changed so much in the last couple of years. We opened on November 10th, and we're seeing the fruition of many years of planning to revitalize downtown Henderson. The Water Street District is becoming the hub for unique shopping and dining options. And you might try one of the wonderful restaurants, including we have a European bake shop, an authentic new New York style Italian kitchen and pizza place. We have a popular Mexican cantina and a new burger joint that's operated by an Emeril Lagasse protege. So come on down and have a meal in downtown Henderson. Our events plaza, which is located between the lifeguard arena and the city hall, has been reimagined. So it's going to be a fun and interactive space. You know, we could invite uh, food trucks and host special events or viewing parties for hockey games and things like that right by City Hall. So we're excited about the possibility of the festivals and concerts that we can host in downtown Henderson. And of course, we have an outdoor amphitheater that we've upgraded and added 400 fixed seats and a new sound system. So it's very exciting to see the energy that's being generated downtown in this area. And if it's been a while since you visited Water Street, I invite you to come on over and experience the things that are happening here. And during this time of uncertainty that's been brought on by the pandemic, it's critical that the city of Henderson creates an economically stable environment and provides opportunity for recovery for our residents. And so we've been providing grants to many of our businesses to help them to succeed and make it through these challenging times. And we're focused on helping our community get back to work, supporting our local businesses in recovery, and continuing to develop strategic partnerships. And I have to say, I credit the foresight and sound planning practices of the city, its past leadership, its present leadership, to diversify our business community and to invest in the infrastructure. And believe me, as chair of the Regional Transportation Commission, I know how foundational the investment of infrastructure is in our community to build better communities. So having good roads, having water, sewer, and all of the resources, all of the utilities in, these are things that we take for granted, but it's so important that we're doing good planning to make sure that those resources are available to us. So those past decisions have helped us to respond nimbly and effectively to the challenges of the pandemic and will allow us to emerge from the pandemic stronger than ever. And I'd like to thank you for having me today, and I want to extend an invitation to each and every one of you to view the 2021 State of the City Address, and that's going to be presented virtually on February 11th at 11 in the morning. And you can find the link on our cityofhenderson.com website. So with that, I'd like to open it up and take any questions that any of you may have about Henderson and the great work that's being done here.
Could I begin with a question?
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mayor, for joining us. And I think Henderson is clearly, everyone recognizes, kind of a jewel in our metro area that we all enjoy. You mentioned diversification, and I have not been a longtime resident here, but I hear it come up every so often, especially during the pandemic. And then it seems when things get better again, everybody forgets about it. And there are a couple of natural areas where I think Las Vegas metro area is particularly well positioned to do that. I'm just wondering if I could mention some of them and see whether you and the city are involved in any of them.
Sure, and I'll take some notes.
Well, one of them is opportunities related to our Air Force presence here. So we have a technology incubator here called AFWorks. That's a civilian operation, but supported by the Secretary of the Air Force. It's designed to incubate technology-based startups here in the area that support the needs of the Air Force. And it turns out, from what I've seen, that almost all the activity that's happening there is from companies in California who are working with them rather than locally.
We're part of
the second thing on my. Okay. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
We're part of a civilian military council, and we go out every quarter to the base and we meet with the leadership out there and talk about their concerns. And we do this as all of the mayors and the chair of the county commission. So we're doing this as a community jointly, going out and working with them to identify issues that they may have, how we can help solve some of the challenges they may have. In fact, oftentimes they would have spouses that would come in with the airmen, and their spouse may have a license in another state, but there was no reciprocity. We were able to work with the state to ensure that we provide reciprocity for the family members. So now those family members can work in the community let's say if they have a social work license, there's reciprocity, or a teaching license, so that they don't have to go through all the steps that if they were coming to the community fresh without the military connection. So we've tried to help streamline that. And Henderson is also on a national watch list for this space, this new branch of the military, which was for aerospace, that they're looking at a site in West Henderson. And so the Air Force has been working closely with the federal folks and with Henderson, should Henderson be chosen as the site for that facility.
Okay, I have some others, but I don't want to dominate the question, so I'm going to hold back and let someone.
Thank you. Does anyone in the room have a question? Well, if not, Mayor March. Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to know, as a Henderson resident, what are the transportation solutions for when you do have big events down on Water Street? How are you going to get all those people there?
You know, we've actually been working very diligently with our engineering folks. We've made an $11 million investment in Water Street to make it a complete streets and do some traffic calming. We also actually opened Water Street up to Cadence. So the street now connects all the way into the Cadence community. So there's a lot greater connectivity. We're also working with right now engineering folks, but also with the county and the city of Las Vegas to invest in major improvements along Boulder Highway. And we're going to be looking at a center alignment for transit, and then have bike lanes and create, generally when you look at a complete streets project, even though it may slow the speed, it creates more efficiency and keeps the traffic moving more efficiently. And so those are some investments that we're making in and around that area. You know, we expect that there'll be times when there's a special event going on, like a car show, or there's a major event maybe at the Lifeguard Arena, that there'll be additional traffic down there. And we're working with we have a parking structure, and we're working with Joe DeSimone, who recently purchased the Boyd's Casino, to use some of the parking over there so that we can park cars as well down there. So we're working hard at creating more efficiency and moving traffic more smoothly in the area.
Richard, Uncle Mark has a question.
Mayor, this is Mike Ballard. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Great. And can you talk about, what surprised me is I love the Water Street District and all the changes that are being made. You're also got a lot of housing there. Can you talk about the housing that's coming to downtown?
Yeah, we have a number of developers that we've been working with through the redevelopment agency, and actually along Water Street at a number of the locations are opportunity zones. So there's been some real tax benefit to folks coming in and making investments. So we have, I know at the entrance of Water Street down near Lake Mead, there's a 110 unit project that's going to be going in with restaurants and some retail in there. I know that there's Yakubik's project's going to have some residential housing. I know the B of A building that now houses Mojave Brewing and Biscuits and Bourbon will have some residential units above it. And then there's a project that's going to be going in across the street from the Lifeguard Arena that will probably have about 125 residential units. And then, of course, Wyndham Kimsey's project, where he's putting in some smaller residential units. And then we have some other smaller developers who are doing things in and around the downtown area as well. So there's going to create a sense of vibrancy where it'll create more walkability and more energy for people who are actually live, work, and play down in that area.
Mayor March, around the time you took office and people from Henderson would go up to Carson City to seek state approvals for things, that my recollection is the people in Reno and Sparks and Carson City would sort of smirk at the idea that Henderson was ever going to develop into anything.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head? I know Las Vegas is the largest city in Nevada, but who might be the second largest city in Nevada?
We might be. Our population's about 325,000 residents, and we're about 114 square miles as a city. So by landmass, it's pretty good size, but we have large residential areas like the Green Valley and Inspirada community, Sun City Anthem neighborhoods, and we're really committed to a quality of life to ensure that our residents can enjoy living, working, and playing in our community. There's great parks and amenities. In fact, we've twice been recognized for with the gold medal for our Parks and Recreation program here in Henderson. So quality of life, we don't want to just grow. We want to grow wisely and soundly and ensure that our residents have a good experience when they move to our community, that we have adequate fire stations and adequate police coverage. In fact, I think we're number 2 in the nation for, or we're the second safest city in America. So we're very excited to have just recently gotten that recognition for a city of our size.
Are there any other questions here in the room? Any other questions on the Zoom? Well, I guess you must have covered it very well because no one else has any more questions, but thank you very much.
Tune in for the State of the City on the 11th and you'll hear more stuff.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, Mayor March, our Rotary Club doesn't give away trinkets for you to try to find a place to gather dust on your shelf. Instead, we give a Share What You Can award to each of our guest speakers and make a donation to the USO Community Service Program in your name.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you just reach down, I'll give you your award.
Thank you very much. I'm truly honored to have been here with you today. Wished I could have been in person. Thank you.
That almost wraps up our meeting, except if you remember Thanksgiving, we gave the Salvation Army most of the money that was raised in the canned food drive, but we were still collecting some of it. And so there was about $4,000 left net of the check that we did with the Salvation Army. And so if we could ask the Captain Barnes, it's my pleasure to give you the balance.
Thank you. I think we're going to take a picture.
Absolutely. And you want to tell us something about who you said it?
Just another thank you for the generosity and support, that the Rotary Club has given to what we're doing at the Salvation Army. Our promise remains to you and the rest of the community that we will work tirelessly to help those that are in need, to be a friend to the friendless, and to love the unlovable, and to feed the hungry and clothe the naked. We will continue to do those things. Just over this holiday season, we were able to help so many families, and to see the look of joy and to hear the words of thanks. I think that this year we received more of those, and it's not about receiving that, but we heard face-to-face more thank yous from families this year than any other. And it just really shows the need, some very desperate, for families who have not given up. They've been working really hard and trying to make ends meet and doing what they can. And just any little extra bit helps. And a line that continues to go through my mind is one that we heard from a family. We heard from a few families now, but one in particular said, at least we don't have to choose between food and medicine. That's a sobering statement, to think that those decisions have to be made. And now they don't, because we're able to help provide food to those families and other needs that are being fulfilled. So thank you for your support, whether it's through the club or personal and individual. We continue to make that promise to do the best that we can with what we're provided to help those that are in need. So thank you so much.
And with that, I am happy to say we are done with our agenda. So you're welcome to stay and visit a little bit if you want. And the formal meeting is closed.
Goodbye,
Bye,
fellow,
all. Stay safe.
fellow
Have a good week.
Zoomers.
Have a good week, everybody.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Nice
Take
meeting
care,
you, Greg.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
You got to do Zoom. So leave it to. Oh, so she was awesome. Yeah. Oh, she doesn't. She's smart. Very well spoken.
She only did one thing that I didn't like, because I was a product of the internship. And when she was the head of lead, I said, I'd like to help you spearhead the intern program. And she said, well, fine, you got to pay them like 13 to 20 bucks an hour. And I go, no, they for free. Right. And she goes, well, the casinos do, you have to match it. And I go, then I'll do it when I retire. And that was the end of the conversation. I'm like, really? Because it would be so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Kirk, we have an opening for a 12:40 tea time on Sunday, if you're available, with Jim Cole and myself and Mubi behind you at TPC Summit. I've never played that before. It's not in great shape because we don't oversee, but it's still fun. It's still good. It's like 120, 12:40. I have nothing on the calendar. And if you want, we can grab lunch at noon, a quick lunch beforehand. Let me ask my boss. Ask the boss. You got my number? It's in the. Yeah, 580.
And I was, so, question. Because I saw your name on some real estate advertising near where we live, the Albertsons complex.
What?
The DI and like
Pecos McLeod?
Yes. So like how much are some of those units going for rent?
Like a buck and a quarter or something.
Square foot.
Yeah.
Now it looked like both of them were, some of them were like 2 units in one. So can you
subdivide?
Okay, all right. Because at some point Becca's probably going to outgrow our living room doing yoga. So I'm looking at options and that kind of thing. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Anytime. Right. Yeah, if that's convenient, that works.
Bye. She had a Kirk's Yeah, it was a Kirk sandwich today.
K2.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me know.
All right.
Right.
That was noon. Okay.
Yeah, it's at 12:40. We can meet for lunch. And lunch is on.
All right, cool. Thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my. No, no, understood. Understood. I got that down. All right, I'll do it.